whether it's for regularly able to differently able, the event is just the bomb all the time. And I appreciate that because they put a lot of work in, a lot of commitment in, a lot of time in, and they harass me as much as they possibly can. Even if they want to come down and have lunch in my office, and we do that and talk. We probably have the longest agenda, than anybody else that come in and have a meeting. They have a long rule, a scroll of agenda items that we talk about in terms of what they want to accomplish and get done for the community. For the differently able community, but for the city as a whole. And I appreciate the work that they're doing, the effort that they put in this, and they looked marvelous, by the way. They looked amazing that they came up here, And you saw Quilla come up here dancing, right? So I had an opportunity to be in a competition, and I danced with her. I was her dancing partner, and I always tell people this story because I'm an educator. I'm still an educator. I don't want to say was a teacher, a principal, a vice principal, the whole thing. And we always talk about universal design and all this other stuff. So we had to learn the dance steps together. We had an instructor, myself and Quilla, we were all learning the dance. Or I should say, I was learning the dance, because those two had it down pat. But the way I had to learn it, people was always curious, how did y'all learn that together? She actually knew the dances. I had to hold her and do the moves while she was actually doing the moves. So I was in the dark then, right? I had to figure out how to get those moves and get it right and get the timing and all that correctly. And she showed me something there that as long as you give people access, as long as you give them a way to engage the content or whatever is happening, they can excel. They can excel at levels your expectation and even further beyond. And those of us who believe that we are advantaged in some capacity, when you are in a specific situation, you wind up finding out that you have less advantage than those folks in those situations. So I learned a tremendous amount of things just learning how to dance and being in that event. And since then, I made a pledge to always be a part of Eyes Like Mine, to do what I can, not just as the mayor of the city, but as a human being, as a black man in this community, in this city, to feel humanity and comfort and care for the folks in my community. So whatever it is that I can do, I'm always going to be present and accounted for when they call me. So I had a busy schedule today. I made sure my secretary put this on here because I wanted to come. I wanted to show my face. I wanted to say something because I incredibly important. So always support them. Thank all of y'all for coming out, showing them love, showing them support. God bless y'all. I know she can't hear it, but Chris, you're doing an outstanding job.
Thank you, Mayor Baraka. At this time, I have the distinguished honor, and before I do that, I have to recognize a head coach who inspired me. I won't say his name out loud, but you had an impact on my life, beating me in that championship, and that kind of unselfish giving is what we need in the city of Newark. Next guest is an advocate of education as well, and also Newark's Municipal Council President, the Honorable Mildred Crump, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, come on, you all, listen. There is no way you cannot be excited about what is about to take place. A pageant that brings us to a level of awareness. Come on, clap it up for them. Not for me, but for them. And while you're clapping, clap for the greatest mayor in America. Name is Raz J. Baraka. A mayor who has a schedule from the beginning of where I'm standing to the end, and he takes time to come to an event like this. That speaks to his character and how he feels about people in Newark. For those of you who don't know, I'm a 40-year retired teacher of the blind. 3 of the students in the pageant were my students. The one who is most notable, and I shouldn't do that, but she is Crystal. When I walked into University High to be introduced to this new student, thanks to our current superintendent, Roger Leone, who was the principal at the time, I met a young lady with a serious attitude. A serious attitude. But I need to tell you, that's only because she knew what she needed, and she didn't think I know. I knew what she needed. She is now my adopted daughter. There is nothing that I would not do for her. I would stand in front of a Mack truck and let it hit me first before I allowed it to hit her. She has grown in an incredible way so that she is an inspiration to others. Permit me to recognize someone who is behind the scenes, but is really the mover and maker and shaker of what goes on at the Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Pam Gaston. You all don't know her. You don't know her face. But she's the lady who makes it happen. And so, as the mayor has already indicated, we have a long, long day, but there is no way I would miss being here for this incredible pageant. Can you imagine what your life might have been like if you had become visually impaired at an age where you were accustomed to being able to manage on your own. This young lady, Crystal, and all of those young ladies are role models, and they're my heroes. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of the day. Hi, Richard. Who do I give this to? Oh, there he is.
Thank you, Ms. Crump, for coming. Ms. President, let's give Ms. President a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the next guest that I have the distinguished honor of introducing is Ms. Janelle Santana, who is a lifetime advocate of the blind of all ages, from kindergarten all the way up to senior citizens. She will be escorted to the front by the Bronze Shields. Earlier, when you heard me making the distinction of Newark's finest, that's because Newark's Public Safety Department does protect us. But these officers, these distinguishedly trained gentlemen that you saw escorting pageant ladies, are part of a special group called the Bronze Shields, and they do this out of their heart. So let's give them some love. So at this point, I want to welcome Ms. Janelle Santana to the front, and she will be giving some words of encouragement, and she will speak a bit in depth about her advocacy for the blind of all populations and all ages. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Janelle?
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? My name is Janelle Santana, and I'm from Howell Township, New Jersey. I'm 34 years old. I have retinitis pigmentosa. I was diagnosed back October 2002. And my hobbies are dancing, basketball, bowling, and the mall. I like to shop. I also have 2 certificates online. I went to Penn Foster EDU there in Pennsylvania. And I have 2 certificates, Teacher's Aid Assistant, Sports and Fitness Nutrition. Do I look so fabulous here, up here on stage here today? So, thank you. Please vote for me to be Miss Blind Diva Beauty Pageant Empowerment 2019. Thank you so much.
Ms. Santana, let's give Janelle some love. Let's extend some love and encouragement to everyone that comes up here. Thank you. Y'all have been a fantastic audience. Next deals again with the arts. The next guest that we have is one of the advocates and leaders in Newark's arts movement. Her name is Miss Queen Moore, and she's coming before you with a treat from her heart to yours. At this point, I have the distinguished honor to bring forth Miss Queen Moore. Thank you, Miss Queen, for coming.
Good evening, y'all. No, we in Newark. We gotta make some noise. Good evening, y'all. Yes, indeed. My name is Queen Moore. Originally, I had some music. Hey, Mayor, how you doing? He always makes my poems feel a little bit more strenuous. So, really quickly, a little background. I met Crystal a couple of years ago. Such a tenacious and vivacious energy that she has, and she's very persistent. So again, if you do not return Crystal's call, she will show up, pop up wherever you are, and then at some moment you will have to face her. I also know her business partner, Naquilla. My boyfriend actually happened to be her teacher many years ago, and I happened to be Naquilla's son's teacher, Mr. Aaron, 3 years ago. So when I tell you the way these ladies set up the community, Naquilla's baby would sing in my art class the song from Power, and I thought that it was just so impactful to hear a child that was in kindergarten sing that song, to choose that song, not Kids Bop, not the Stanky Leg. He was singing a song about having power. And when I was invited here today by Crystal and Naquilla, she said, I want you to talk about being empowered and being a woman and being about the community, but also being a mother. And I said, well, can I do that yet? I haven't had a baby yet, but he's in there. So I thank you. I thank you for allowing me to be a part of your project. And I completely admire you. So I want to, y'all can snap. There is a moment in time when you should see it for yourself. We are not talking about the sight that you possess from your eyes, but what comes from your spirit. We are talking about the colors of your aura, not the colors of your eyes. Your irises have only contacted you. Just envision. Close your eyelids for a moment and allow yourself to dream. To dream without sight, because sight don't mean that you can see. Sight means that you can feel, that you know where you are going. Be empowered. Be envisioned. Not with your eyes wide open, but with your soul wide open and ready. See, I have an idea about the message that I'm going to give to my son, whose eyes are steady closed. I have a message to give to the community whose eyes might be closed. It is my job to open up their vision, intact with their third eye, get their colors movement, get their colors in moving and movement. Keep snapping. Don't stop. I can't lose rhythm. I have a moment within myself to have a conversation about being empowered and being a mother. I have to be the eyes for the community, for my son to come through. The child that is laying in my womb will look forward to me, look forward to my message. He will look to me for guidance, and not just to see, but to know where he is going. Seeing doesn't only mean that we see with our sight, but how we feel. See for yourself. See for yourself. Say that. See for yourself. See for yourself. I can only imagine what visually impaired feels like, not being able to look forward, but you know if your heart is connected to God. You know what it looks like if your heart is connected to God. Your eyes don't need to see where you are going, because some of those that can see where they are going are without sight, living in darkness constantly, without vision, moving in silence, not talking up and speaking up for themselves. But God knows. He gave me the sight to feel, love, hear, and hold, especially when I need faith. Faith is the only thing that is going to get me through, so empower yourself. Keep pushing through. Love, long past sight and seeing. Love, long past what's in front of you and what appears. Love, like in being empowered when your vision is no longer clear. Let your feeling and your faith guide you, because sight ain't all that it is cracked up to be. You will see for yourself.
Thank you, Queen Moore, for that frequency of poetic art. At this point, I'd like to introduce two distinguished ladies who chair up Newark's People's Assembly. They are two ladies that represent Newark, New Jersey in a first-class fashion 100% of the time. At this point, I have the distinguished honor to bring forth Miss Andrea Mason and Miss Levita Johnson to speak on the Newark People's Assembly.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Shay just mentioned, I'm Andrea Mason, and this is my partner, Levita Johnson. We serve as the representatives for a division within the mayor's office called Newark People's Assembly. And our main role, thanks to Mayor Baraka, is to share information with the community, trying to bridge that gap in communication between the mayor's office and to you guys. We also, there's a couple different purposes, but what I want to make clear today is we've learned that the differently able community needs to feel more included in our city. So we've done quite a few things in the last couple months that we've been made aware of thanks to Eyes Like Mine and also the deaf community, deaf advocacy group.
Appreciate your patience. We wanted to just recognize one more lady who's a professional and a lifetime advocate of special education, Dr. Davis, who is a lifetime advocate of special education. She's a product of education, hard work, and dedication, and we want her to share with you a message, and we want you to pay attention to the contents of her message and where we move forward with organizations like Eyes Like Mine and our continuous advocacy for special education. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. So my understanding is I'm between you and dinner, so I won't make this very long, but I am very, very happy to be here. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm Dr. Bernice Davis. I am the Executive Director for the Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired of New Jersey. Thank you. And I just want you to know, what that means operationally for you and for the community. So if you haven't heard already, we have education services for blind, visually impaired, and deafblind persons, whether it's an infant or someone who's 89 and beyond. We have employment services. We also have independent living services where we train people. We give them the skills to live independently within their own homes. We have summer programs to encourage high school students. We also have peer support groups. I see Brandon Scott over there. Brandon is instrumental in us trying to create more peer-to-peer support groups so that people, when they meet challenges in the community, they have peers to turn to for encouragement. So this is the 2019 Miss Blind Diva Pageant. I am thrilled to be here. I have been invited before, and I wasn't able to make it, so today is a very special day for me. I would like to take the time to thank Crystal Allen, Niquella Wright. Those two ladies are an inspiration to me. Crystal said to me the other day, "Oh, you're such an inspiration." No, you're an inspiration, Crystal, as well as Niquella. So I want to thank those two ladies for all they do, for making this a reality. So when I was thinking about today, I looked up the word empowerment. Like, what does that really mean? And what does it mean for women? And one of the things that it means is giving women the opportunity to make decisions for themselves and choices for themselves. So this Blind Diva Pageant, I think it aligns very nicely with that. And then what I would also like to say, I would like to talk a little bit about community and how important community is. I just talked about peer-to-peer support groups. As you all know, as human beings, the very core of human beings is connection and community. So community is important to all of us. And before I even knew that Shakespeare actually said it, "Be true to thine own self," I thought my grandmother said it, but it was actually, I learned later, it was Shakespeare. And for me, I just want to leave you with the message that Be true to thine own self. Having the courage to show up, having the courage to live as authentically as possible, and having the courage to have your voices heard. And when I think about standing up and standing out, Crystal, Niquella, there's other people in the blind and visually impaired community that I'm always inspired by. And also, you know, without, faith without works, is dead, right? So it just makes me very thrilled to be invited here by Crystal, because she certainly is not a person that has faith and there's no works. And this product of today, us all here sharing this experience together, is a testament to Crystal. And also, I want to give a shout out to Pamela Gaston. Pam is very comfortable working behind the scenes, but once in a while I got to push it to the front a little bit and say thank you very much, because you're an inspiration to me as well. So without further ado, I know people are hungry, but thank you for being here. Thanks for taking the time to be here and supporting empowerment, the men and the women in the room. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Davis. Thank you so much. Really quickly and briefly, we must recognize Newark Public School students who participated in the art performance and dance earlier. The dance department chair, we want to give her recognition, him or her recognition. We want to give Ms.